Fuel is the official podcast of the 434th Air Refueling Wing. Join us for Airmen connections, leadership insights, mentorship, and happenings mixed with some fun and humor. Please understand that the views expressed in this podcast are not necessarily the views of the U.S. Air Force nor the Air Force Reserve, and no endorsement of any person or business is ever intended.
Welcome to the August edition of the Fuel Podcast. I'm the host, Chief Nathan Parks. I'm the Command Chief here at Grissom. Always with me is Tech Sergeant Josh the Dream Weaver. Josh just had a birthday, so happy another year made it.
Right.
So
Barely.
This year was a survival year for you too.
Yeah.
You built a house and man, all kinds of surviving. Your marriage survived that.
Barely, but we're still hanging on.
Yeah. So was that Sergeant Chapin that said the first thing he does when he backs his RV in is apologize to his wife.
That's standard operating procedure for backing anything.
Yeah. So, hey, this morning we're in here with some heavy hearts with our with the flag at half staff with Congresswoman Orlowski's passing yesterday. Man, she was a great friend of Grissom's. She was relentless in her pursuit to make Grissom, be here for a long time, make sure that we're getting the missions that we should be getting. She did a lot of work in Congress, and I posted a picture on our Instagram page of her sitting with General Scobie and Chief White, and she would have those meetings. And the last time I talked with Chief White, he said, man, that Congresswoman of yours, she loves the Airmen of Grissom and she fights hard for them. And so we lost a great friend there and a great ally, and our hearts and our prayers go out to her family as well as her staff's family and all of those involved with that accident. So if you see the flags flying at half staff, that's why. We also, due to the current COVID numbers in the surrounding counties, not necessarily what's on base. We only have like 2 cases of COVID on base right now, but due to the surrounding counties and the guidance that has been given to us, we made the decision to go back into wearing masks because of what the numbers are right now and everything. And I assure you, I promise you, we are daily, hourly looking at those numbers. And as soon as they show relief, we will come back out of those. But understand for the next, I don't know how long.
At least this UTA.
Yeah, at least this UTA for right now, we're going to be wearing masks. So as you come out, don't forget a mask. Let's be supportive of each other, and let's not let the fact that we're wearing masks keep us from having a great UTA. A lot of you are participating in an exercise, and some of you aren't, and some of you are, maybe you aren't even here. And again, if you're not here, great, good on you for listening. But hate to deliver that this news up front, but we felt like it was very important that we address that. Appreciate you guys being strong. If you have any questions, if you need any support, if there's anything out there, this UTA that's hitting you a little hard, we have the resources available here. Just get with your supervisors or get with us, and we'll help you find the right resources. So now let's get into the podcast, and we have a great interview with one of our favorites, Chief Cassidy. All right, welcome to the long-awaited interview between with Chief Cassidy. So welcome, Chief.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Yeah. So first off, why don't you kind of introduce yourself, where you're at?
I'm Chief Cassidy. I've been here a number of years. I'm currently the superintendent of AMXS and also the group superintendent of the MXG.
Yeah, so dual-hatted, right? So you're doing 2 jobs right now, and don't think we're going to breeze by. When did you get here?
I got here early 1984.
1984.
When were you born?
78.
Okay.
Josh, when were you born?
Thanks, Josh.
When were you born? God, why did it take you so long to figure out when you were born?
Well, I knew when I was
drive
born.
a
I was
vehicle
trying
on
to
the daily that's older than you.
I was trying to find
So-
a way to work in there that it was my birthday, but on Saturday. But I also don't like people to know that because then they do stuff
Yeah,
like
nice job working it in.
parties
Anyways,
and
back to
whatever.
Chief Cassidy. So you're over there. How long have you been in maintenance the whole time?
I have. I was came in fuel cell in MXS, or at the time it was FMS, and then at some point jumped over to the reserves, went to hydraulic shop, went back to fuel shop, went to PE, which is periodic inspections, went to become a pro super, went to QA, and then went to become a superintendent in the MXS. And then went to the MOF, which is the maintenance operations, and then went to the group. And then now I'm over in AMXS.
Yeah, I love it. Love all the different stops along the way. So you came here originally active duty.
Yes, sir. I was active duty until 88. And then next day started as an art and a reservist in 88.
So what is do you have one memory that maybe sticks out here? Like over this last time, the amount of time that you've been here up to now, like, do you have one that maybe just really sticks out?
You know, and this is so cliche, right? I remember the first day getting here.
Really?
Yeah. And this is so silly. I remember driving, I rode a bus to Kokomo, got off at a taxi.
Where'd you ride a bus from?
From Chicago.
So you flew into Chicago?
Right. So I left tech school, and then at that time you had some time off after tech school, and then you came here, your first duty station. So I rode a bus from my hometown into Chicago, and then Chicago down to Kokomo, and then or from Indy, then to Kokomo, and then rode a taxi from Kokomo to Grissom, and got off at the Grissom Inn. And I just remember thinking, holy cow, I'm not in small town Illinois anymore.
Yeah.
But the uniforms back then were just solid green. I was just, this is so long ago, hair parted in the middle, and it was dark then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Prove it.
This is crazy because I had hair parted in the middle too.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing. That was the thing back then.
But yeah, I just remember walking in and seeing how big these airplanes were, and just remember thinking, wow, it's starting here.
Same planes?
Yep, same planes, different models. So they had A models back then, and they were smaller engines with water injection system to get them off the ground. So yep, but same airplanes.
Same tails?
No, different tails.
Yeah.
Back then, active duty had probably 35 tails, just active duty KC-135s. Then we had 28 10s, and the reserves was here with like 8 135s, and we had some T-37s. This base was hopping.
A lot of planes.
Yeah.
Man, a lot.
Yeah, we didn't, I worked fuel cell back then, so we didn't have weekend standby. We had weekend duty. It was, you worked. If you wanted to leave, or if you wanted the weekend off, you took leave.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But you learned that airplane quick.
So is that what, that was like called a SAC base back then?
Yeah, we were SAC. We would have exercises quite a bit and recalls quite a bit. That Hangar 200 was ours back then, and we had the exercises in there, and it was a different back then. The alert out there actually had airplanes there and not cars, and it was pretty busy.
So day one, and then Airmen Cassidy.
Airman Basic.
Airman Basic. So you were slick sleeve.
Yep.
When you showed up here.
Did people salute you like they still do slick sleeves?
No, I looked the part.
They were still like, so you come in from small town Illinois.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Like what's
Freeport, Illinois. It's up right on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin.
Okay.
Home of the pretzels.
But are you a Bears fan, or are you?
I'm a Bears fan and a White Sox fan, and in my world, that's it. There's no Packers, no Cubs.
So that's a rough life that you.
No, I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. So
85 Bears.
85 Bears. That's right. That was right around that time. So were you just living high? You get here like in 84 and 85, the
Yeah,
Bears.
I thought that's just the way it was going to be. I didn't know they would never win another one.
Yeah. So life was going great. So you get on there, like, what was your, can you remember back? Like, what was your idea? Like, okay, I'm going to be here for 3 years and then I'm out.
Yeah, I remember telling my dad that, like, okay, 4 years is not that long. 4 years is not that long. And as you get into it, that's exactly what you do. You get into it. And the more you work, the more you like it, the more you love it, and the more confidence you get. And the more confidence you get, the more you want to dig into it.
So why the military? Like, what drove you to the military?
So in my small town is like 2 companies and 2 factories, and most of my relatives worked in Honeywell and or Microswitch is what it was called back then. And I didn't want to do that the rest of my life. So played a lot of baseball. Wasn't good enough to go any farther with it. So
how was your modeling career?
My modeling career, not very good. I was a hand model.
Hand model, mostly. The baseball messed that up.
No, but yeah, so I decided I had to do something. I had to get out of town. Not because people were after me, but just because I had to do something different.
Now more people after me. Yeah. So your plan was stay 4 years and then
maybe work at an airport or something. But again, 4 years, and then I reenlisted. And then some art jobs opened up. I could see these guys walking around in civilian clothes and making good money. I
Back
thought,
in
man,
the day.
I think I could do that.
So did you have a desire for aviation, like to fly, or was your desire always the maintainer side of things?
Yeah, it's always been maintenance. I, as a kid, would rip apart bicycles and put them back together just for the heck of it. And then then I came here, right? And it's always been the maintenance side of it. I never had a desire to do anything else.
Yeah. What was on your, they didn't have playlists back there, but what was the song that was your jam? Like 84, you came here. Was there like a theme song that you?
Like a walk-up song?
Yeah. Like what was in 84, what was your walk-up song?
Really?
Yeah. I want to check it out. Like I want to see what.
So I was into Curtis Blow. I was into a lot of the R&B stuff back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cameo. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. You still like
Houdini. Stevie Wonder. You want me to keep going?
Oh yeah. Like I need a walk-up song. Like I need something to where every time I see you now, like
Rick
that
James.
song will be playing in my head as you walk out. You know? Yeah. So I didn't think that was too young that was too early on for like Beastie Boys or they were late. So, okay.
Well, hold on. Follow-on question there. Do you think we should have walk-up songs to the Jets?
Do I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when I was a One Charlie every pilot, I had a walk-up song and a walk-out song too. And so especially when we were deployed and they would get everything and they were getting ready to walk out I played some walk-out music. And then some of them would come up, because they didn't. Man, if you're gonna play a song, maybe you could play this song. Yeah, so I'm like, hey, this is what I think of you, not what you. So some of them were not happy with their walkout songs, but
retirement.
Yeah,
yep.
So Colonel Pemberton, I've talked about that a couple times of doing walkout music, and so I think everybody should have like a walkout song, and yours would be you're a Tupac fan, right?
I am. Yeah. And I'll probably do the George Jefferson walk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
I can't help that. That's just old age.
That's just the way he walks now. Yeah. It's not on purpose, folks.
It is.
So what would be yours, Josh?
Oh,
Barry Manilow.
Yeah. So you kind of strike me as Barry guy. Some Ed Sheeran or something like that.
No, it's probably... I don't know. It's going to be something.
You don't really listen to music a whole lot, do you?
No, I listen.
You're more of a podcast guy.
Yeah, but I still listen to a lot of music. But a lot of music that I listened to, I was not alive when it was released. So
how about just Dreamweaver?
Yeah.
Nope.
Come on, that would be a good one.
We could just. I mean, I could do Dream On though.
Oh, that would be a good one. Yeah, that would be good. Well, we got sidetracked. Me? I like Simple Man.
Shinedown or
I like
Leonard
Shinedown's
Skinner?
version, but Larry Fleet he does a version of it that I really like. And then there's a Lathan Warwick. He's got one that I may save it because I may just walk out to it like for like my last Commander's Call here or something.
A reason it's your last one.
Yeah, it's, just to play that one. So it's a mix of like country and rap. So I like to call it crap. So it's country rap mix. So you come in, you get in the gig, you're like, hey, you start getting plugged in and stuff. Was it easy sailing? Like, I mean, you're sitting here now as a chief, and I think sometimes people are like, oh, well, he's probably always been Chief Cassidy, right? Even when he was Airman Basic Cassidy, people probably thought of him as Chief Cassidy. How'd that go?
There was, as an art, back then, you had senior airman slots as art. Now they only have staff as low as you go. But I remember, some of that was kind of cutthroat just to get in a slot to where you might be able to get pepped or step now.
Yeah.
So you worked hard to try to get in in the right slots, and you bounced around a little bit to maybe get in a staff or a tech slot. And then as you do that, you learn a different skill, right? It's not you can't just stay in fuel cell and think you're going to go any higher than a tech or a master. So you look for your breaks, and I've had so many just lucky breaks where there was an opening, and I had a chief or a senior that believed that I could do it and just gave me a chance.
What about unlucky breaks? Do you have any of those? Do you have any times where you thought, man, this is where it ends?
Well, to say I've done everything right is not true. I mean, I've made my mistakes, and I've worked for some really good and really bad supervisors. And
we name them.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Most of them probably not alive. That's back in the
80s. But you take away something from all of them, good and bad. So I've just been able to find breaks and been lucky enough to have supervisors give me those chances. But yeah, I haven't really had anything where like, okay, this is where I end.
Yeah.
I've had jobs I don't like, but I've been lucky enough to get out of them.
Do you remember the first like UTA switching over from active duty to?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was different. We used to have like a row of chiefs lined up, and as you came by, they were checking you out and make sure, you were looking good.
And how was Airman Cassidy at that time?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, I hate to tell you, but one time I walked in and I had an earring in. Didn't make it.
Hold on.
Didn't make it.
Hold on.
Was it the Michael Jordan one? The one loop?
Was it a diamond or a loop?
It was a diamond, and I didn't make it.
So you walk in on a UTA.
Yes, sir.
And you know you're going to walk past the snake pit there.
Yep.
And so you got an earring in. Yeah. Were they on your right side or left side?
Well, they missed it. And I got back and I went, uh-oh. And then my supervisor calls and says, hey, we took care of it already. I said, okay, we saw it. We just wanted to see if he'd take care of it. But they didn't jerk me out of line or anything. But yeah.
What, did you forget you had it in?
Yeah. No, I was testing it. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I forgot. That was really, truthfully, that was it. I'm first of all, I'm not wearing it anymore. And next, an old gray hair guy with an earring is probably not a good thing.
Well, that depends. I mean, are we just looking for laughs?
Yeah. Now you wear that with your ponytail hat.
Yeah.
Do you feel like along the way though, some of those, because you're here and I don't know. I think sometimes people see us and we talk about, they're like, well, what are all they accomplished? We must have accomplished a lot to get here. And I always look back at that and I'm like, man, I failed a lot, which got me here.
Yeah, I'm an open book. I will tell, and you know this, I will tell stories good and bad.
Right.
I mean, I screwed this up and I screwed this up, but I do it. I tell those bad stories too, where man, I have screwed up as many as others, and I say it right. I'm a chief, and if I can do it, you can do it because I've not done everything right.
Do you feel like the failures molded you like to? I always think that my failures probably molded me more than my successes did.
Yeah, and my ego's not so huge that I won't tell anybody my failures either. Yeah,
Right.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Because I don't want you to make the same mistake.
Yeah. So if you're listening, is don't show up with an earring is what we've learned so far.
And hair parted in the middle.
And hair parted in the middle. Yeah. So with walkout music, that's Tupac. So yeah, is there a moment where you kind of had that I forget what they call it, but it's just like the bluing moment, like whether it was a deployment or something where you're like, I always say we all come here for different reasons, but why we stay, it depends on the experiences we have. Is there experience along the way? Like you're like, man, on this deployment at this time.
So a couple of things. One is when I didn't get something I wanted. There was a couple of jobs that I wanted I didn't get. And then instead of saying, that supervisor just made a bad choice, I started looking at myself and realized, okay, what else can I do?
And where was that in your career, do you think?
So that was, I was in a hydraulic shop and there was some jobs that I wanted and I couldn't get. So
like
I was
staff
probably,
tech?
I was a staff and just floundering, right? Just, I wasn't getting where I wanted and I could just see myself sitting there and for the next 20 years. And I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted or not. Now, there's some great mechanics that are very happy with that. And we need that, right? And I look back sometimes and think that was the best job I ever had.
Right.
But, something clicked and I just wanted more and was given that opportunity. But I had to make myself a little bit more marketable and a little bit more needed. And so I started looking for other opportunities. I wanted to make myself needed. I wanted them to say, hey, we need you. So, that sounds pretty, I don't know, pretty cocky, but I just had to try to find a way to make myself more marketable. And then I never quit learning that. Like, okay, there's days that I walk out of here thinking, man, that was not a good day. I didn't get a lot done. And then there's other days walking out like I feel, all right, I got this. But to this point, I still have those days where it's like, man, I didn't get enough done today.
Or I couldn't close the loop on anything today. Like I felt like I opened more, more questions after I started asking questions than
right. That list kept growing.
Yeah.
And I'm a list guy. I'll make a list almost every day. I have a notepad in my shower, a waterproof notepad.
You would tell me that one time.
And I'll write that down. It's out right now. I need to get another one. But I get out of the shower, I'll make a note. I got to remember this. I'll put notes in my boot, just like I got to remember this. So when I get to work, man, I'm writing notes what I got to remember. So it's just because some of that's because I forget day to day. Oh, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. But at the end of the day, I'm looking.
That's good time management, or you're taking way too long in showers. Like I don't want to get into that here, but I do love that in the fact that you said, hey, I want to make myself kind of irreplaceable here. Like if I go, I want them to think we can't afford for this person to go. And I've always said, hey, I want to make it stupid for them. Like it's stupid for them not to put me in that position. Or it's stupid for them not to promote me, and so I always wanted to do the things that I needed to where I was ready, and I chased. I don't know about you, but I chased opportunities. Like for me, it was I want to go do that, and if there's a rank associated with it, cool. But really, I just want that opportunity.
But I always feel like if I'm doing my job well, I'll get noticed.
Yeah.
And I don't need to go and look for that next stripe. But you're right on the opportunity thing. Oh, that looks like fun. I think I really want to try that. Or that might be something I'm interested in.
Yeah. And so it's kind of one of those things where I think sometimes people are like, well, what do I need to do to get to that next rank? And it's kind of like, well, what are you doing with what you have right now?
But at this point in my career, I'm more thinking about, okay, what do I got to do to make sure that next guy's ready? To where I don't look for opportunities as much now as I do, okay, opportunity to make sure that next guy's ready.
Yeah. I like to think that if we do our jobs right, as chiefs,
I'm walking out.
If we do our jobs right, at some point there's going to be an opportunity where you and I are going to be like, that looks like fun. And so we apply and then we're like, oh, this guy that I've been working on for years, he's applying too. right? And if we've done our jobs right, guess what? He wins because he's got his knowledge and our knowledge. And so I've always said that if I do my job right, I'll compete against someone that I've mentored and they should win. So,
and we'll walk out without a problem, right? Just, I'm good.
But that takes a different type of mentality, right? It takes a different mentality because I think sometimes people go into this, it's a competition, right? As I'm competing, and I'm a competitive person. I like competing, but I want to compete against the best, which means I've got to give you everything I have to make sure that we're both the best. And that comes with a different attitude. And that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about getting to know you is your attitude. And so you...
Oh, I got one.
Yeah. We know. Yeah. It's, we've been in some stressful situations and not stressful in the sense of, people are shooting at us or anything like that, but stressful situations for here. And I love that your attitude when you walk away is, you're usually smiling and you freaking run everywhere. So
is that why you were out of breath when you walked in here?
I did. Right out here, I was late.
Yeah. So he runs everywhere. So it would seem all the time running. And I was like, where are you headed? And he's like, oh, just over to the office. Like there's no emergency. He's just running. But that I think that comes with an attitude. I think airmen see that and they get motivated by it. But what drives that attitude for you?
Well, I know it just seems so simple, but if I'm running somewhere, it's because either I'm late or at the, I think like at the end of the week,
too much time in the shower.
I got 20-year-old kids, so I know all about long showers.
Yeah.
But if I'm running at the end of the week, how much time do I just save? Mm-hmm. And so I can get more done, or I can get home a little bit earlier. And it just seems simple, but that is the case. But yeah, do I try to bring energy? Yeah, I do. I try to bring energy every day. And I think that does. Some people will feed off of that. It's not fake. It's sincere. But I try to bring it.
And what's that motivator behind that attitude?
No idea. I just motor's ticking.
Yeah.
I just got stuff I got to get done.
Are you like that outside of here?
Yeah.
Like what's your
I don't sit. Like I'll sit and eat dinner, but I don't like to just sit.
You're a cyclist too, right? So you ride.
Yeah, I ride, but not hardcore, right? If I got time, I'll ride an hour around the lake, and it's about 15 miles, and I'll time it, but I'm not really hardcore.
Do you think that you bring that attitude all the time because it's fun? Are you just having fun? Because it seems to me like you're always just having fun.
So it is fun. When you start counting hours, you're here more than you're at home. Most people, I know I am. And boy, if you're going to spend that time around people, you better have fun. And that is the key. I'm going to have fun. You can play along if you want, but really, I know it sounds corny, but I'm going to have fun. I'm at work, and if I'm spending all this time here, and I'm going to be around people, I hope they have fun too. And I'm going to have fun.
Do you think that kept you here? Like the fact that, is that you're having fun?
Yeah, sure. And I've learned that, right? In 1984, I was probably more wide-eyed and scared. But as I grew with experience comes confidence, and there's that fine line between confidence and cockiness. But it is experience and know what you can do. Some of that's know what you can get away with and have fun with it.
Yeah. Do you think you talk about as an airman and then kind of go on, so you've kind of developed this attitude?
I would say, yeah. And if I'm trying to correct somebody and I can do it in a laughing manner, as long as they get the point, then it's good.
Such a different approach than basic training, where you're getting yelled at to make a point.
It depends, because some dudes and dudettes at basic training, I mean, some of the TIs, they would yell some stuff that was pretty freaking funny, right?
You better not laugh though.
Yeah, yeah. But you're like, that dude's got I bet he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
right. One of the worst things that happened to me, or best, whatever you want to call it, is so after basic training, my airline ticket got screwed up. So I was supposed to go to Wichita Falls, Texas, right? And so it got screwed up, and they said, hey, it got screwed up, so you're not starting next week. You're going to start in 2 weeks. And so you're going to stay here at basic. And so they said, but we weren't planning on you staying. And so there's no rooms for you. So I moved from upstairs in the back when we had the basic training dorms like that. I moved from upstairs down into a room with all the TIs.
Yeah.
Right. So all the people for 6 weeks that had yelled at me and made all these comments. And then I walk in and they're like, one of the TI that he's like, hey, this is, Nate, he's going to be here for a while with us. And they're all just like, what's up, dude? Like, put your bags down. We're watching. They were like watching college football. And I'm like, no, I don't like you guys. Like, you yelled at me. And it took me a day to really like, well, these people, they're fun. They have personalities. Like, they're funny. And so I think it's just the job that they had at that time.
Yeah.
Right. But I still think you can correct them and still have that sense of humor and still have that peace and still let them know, hey, I have a job to do here. And my job is to mentor and correct you and to keep discipline, good order and discipline in the unit and still do that and have fun. Because I think if not having fun, you may have still been here since 1984. But I guarantee you, we're not talking to you on this podcast.
Well, I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm probably enjoying it now more than I ever have.
Why is that?
Well, probably because of the job change, right? I am learning something every day in AMXS. And I know I've been here a long time and I probably know how things are supposed to work, but I don't know the flying operation part of it, and I'm learning that every day. Yeah, do I know the admin part? I do, but the flying part that I'm learning every day is just fantastic. And to see those guys out there busting their butt every day, and girls, they're just it's awesome to see. And it's even like the last week, me and Sergeant Fletcher have been out and about on the flight line more just to see it, and it's pretty cool. They're really busy. And yesterday we had a lot of things break, but just to see those guys out there just humping away, trying to get stuff done is pretty awesome. And it's encouraging.
And it's a chance for them to do their job, right?
Right.
And a chance for them to highlight. And you think about like, who are the Airmen Cassidys that are getting ready to stick out in these times where it's difficult or we're really busting our butt, and you start seeing people that you're like, oh, and that person's performing now. Right. Like, I love seeing that, watching that change and watching that, that over time that they they change their attitude, they change their effort. You're like, okay, now they're starting to get it.
Yeah. And it's good to see the other side. All you see is the EPR that isn't done, the fitness that is scheduled. All you see is that. And then when you go out, you're like, okay, there's another side of this person, and just not the admin side. And I'm sure, and that, just to go sideways here, that is the greatest thing about Grissom is the people. I mean, you go into any squadron, you go downstairs, you're going to see those type of people that are just loving their job, busting their butt to get it done the right way. Yeah. Here at 5 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m., just to get whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah. That's what I've said is there's a lot of things that we can look at and say, hey, we need to improve on this, or we need to improve on that. But one thing there's no shortage of is good people. I mean, there's a ton of good people, and you. So that's good people and you.
Talking to you, Josh.
So you start metamorphosing into this like leader, and you make it through the ranks at staff and tech, and then you hit master. And then you really start developing your leadership. What do you see that makes a good leader?
People. You gotta take care of those people. Yeah. And if you're lucky enough to have good people under you, and you're taking care of them, they will help you out along the way. They will make you look good. And that's what I had. I mean, every stop along the way, I had great people to help me out.
So do you have to invest in those people? Like, so you've got to invest something there, right? Because
yeah, but sometimes it's just caring. Sometimes it's just talking to somebody and letting them know and getting their story. You may not have to invest anything but a conversation or time. And in some of the cases along the way, I had such good people around me that they were older and didn't want that next level job, and just helped me, taught me what needed to be done. Like I said, it's just opportunities and that I was given along the way.
How do you turn that around now? Like, you're over in AMXS now, and I mean, we got everyone from people in their 50s to people that are, in their teens.
Same thing.
So how do you create leaders? What are you doing to make AMXS a leadership farm?
Well, I'm out front, and if they have issues, they can come right to me. They have a voice. I need to hear what they have concerns about, and I do it every day. I'm out. I want to hear what their concerns are. I'm every UTA. I'm out front. I want to know what we can do to make it better. With the hiring freeze lifted now, we can start really growing it. Between getting supervisors in there and getting positions filled, now we can really see how this thing's going to get better, in my opinion.
So yeah, in the time that I've been here, you and I have worked a lot on this. Is making sure the right people are in the right jobs, and oddly enough, that's what I'm moving to with this Chiefs group is making sure the right people are leading the right people.
That's great, but this isn't about you. It's all about me.
Sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah.
I thought you were going to offer something awesome there for a second.
I apologize for bringing me up.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. So as you go through this hiring process, how important is that to hire the right people? Because I think the tendency sometimes is, man, the Dream and I have known each other for a long time. I really want him on my team, but in my heart, I know he's not the right guy for the job.
So we have done what has been done for a while now, and I'm just kind of carrying it along. Is the supervisors and I have a panel, and we will go through the panel. We'll rate resumes and EPRs and whatever other information we can get a hold of, and so I have those guys rate. I'm short term here. I am not going to be here much longer, and I want them to have
Earth or just here. At your age, you got to clarify.
At this age, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you got to clarify those things.
I came here as a baby. Yeah. I'm leaving as an old man.
Yes.
And I'm surprised it took you this long to get some old man joke in there.
Like, I've been holding off
disappointed.
Yeah.
But I want them to have a buy-in too on who their next leaders are. And we're going through that right now. We have some positions open, and you've probably seen them out there. I'm advertising so everybody can see what jobs we have, and we're going through right now and rating resumes, trying to get those right people in the right spots.
So as these jobs open up and across the base, jobs are opening up in leadership positions and in all kinds of positions, techs, masters, seniors, like officers, all that stuff. You've been at this for a while. What's your advice? Like, what's your leadership advice? Like, hey, if there's one thing I can give you that will sustain you through the ranks, what is that advice?
It's a mix. It's a balance of knowledge and experience and attitude. If you can have all the experience in the world and all the knowledge of an aircraft, but man, if you got a bad attitude, I don't want you around me. And you got to have that balance, and you got to involve your people. It's not just because you're the supervisor doesn't mean you answer all the questions, and you got to be willing to step down and get that information from your mechanics, your specialists. You'll never know as much as they do. That's why there's a specialist. You got to get that information from them. Just be able to take a step back and don't think you know everything.
There's a saying through it. I think Theodore Roosevelt was the one that said it. He said, they don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. And I've tried to base my leadership, off of that as nobody cares what information I have until they know that I care about them.
Yeah.
Like they don't, I could have all the answers to all of their problems, but if I don't care about them, they could care less. they're not going to hear it. They're not going to see it. When you came in in 80, you came in 84,
83, right? I came in, yeah.
Came in 83 to now, the military has changed quite a bit. And I think the rank that you hold right now has changed quite a bit. You talked about walking in and there's a row of chiefs there, right? And it's when I came in, we had a chief in our squadron, and in the 3 years I was in the squadron, I never talked to the guy because I didn't want to, because I had to usually admit I was in some kind of trouble or something. So I talked to first sergeant a lot, but never made it to chief. Do you see a difference in who we are now as chiefs? Is it who we are back then?
I do. Same thing, right? When I came in, yeah, if you were in front of the chief, there was a problem. Now, I think, in my opinion, you need to be out front. You need to get to know those people. You need to. So when things happen to that family or that guy is not showing up, maybe you know why, or maybe you can understand why. I don't think that wasn't the case back then. Yeah. But I think now it is. It's a need, especially as I grow up and old, they are also. It is different too. I want to reach down and get to that airman and have a conversation with them. Whereas in other places where I was the chief, I felt like I don't have time for that. I got here because I was caring about the people, but I also felt as I became a chief, I felt too separated. But now in this job, I feel like I'm there every day, and I get to talk to them a little bit more than what I was maybe in other squadrons.
Yeah, so is that what keeps it going? Like keeps it going for you?
It is. It's energetic. I wake up. I know it sounds so corny, but I wake up every day just like, man, let's go. And it makes me want to stay.
What time do you get here in the morning?
Right around 6.
And then
not important.
I think it's kind of a lie because I get here at 6 sometimes, and you're usually here before that.
Well,
so I feel like you get here a little earlier than that.
It's the late. I stay late.
Yeah. Well, I know you and that's the thing is I usually honk as I'm on my way out, mm-hmm. and if you're there, you usually give me a good flex.
Or I wave.
Or wave, yeah.
One finger.
Because I'm leaving and you're staying. Yeah. So, yeah, but it's, man, I see your dedication to it, and I see your motivation, and I see your drive to it. And I will tell you it's inspiring. And I will tell you that for me, from a guy that was an outsider coming in, and I, by my own mistakes and my own pieces, when I came in here, I think I made some pretty big mistakes as I came in. But you were always there with a good attitude, with a good suggestion on, hey man, you need to be doing this, or that didn't come across the way you need to relook at that. And we've had some disagreements, and we've had some things that we were able to back each other on and really got to push some things through, some accomplishments. But man, that attitude, man, if I could just capture your attitude and it's just infectious. And I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for, being that guy that I know you got. We've had talks. I know there's days where you're not feeling it. Like as far as you got kids that are needing things from you, and a wife that maybe needing something from you. And, you got to talk about getting to your parents or your brother, whatever. And it's like, but then I watch you run to the next meeting.
That's why.
And show up with a smile. Right. And I don't think we can emphasize that enough to our members, is that, man, if you just see the good in things, I'm not saying you're just oblivious to the bad, but if you focus on those good things and moving forward, I think it drives you to a longer career, because it's easy to get caught up, in, hey, we got money problems. Hey, we got a hiring freeze, or a strategic hiring pause. Yeah. A hiring freeze. And it's easy to get caught up in those things sometimes. And so our airmen, I think, get caught up in that at times, and they look at, well, I don't agree with this guy, or I don't look like this guy, or I don't look like that gal, or I don't like what she says, or I don't. So what advice do you have for them, like to develop this attitude in themselves?
Good question. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say with that. Is just remember what your job is. What is the focus? And ours is to produce safe airplanes for the pilots to fly. And then the rest of the stuff will come, right? Yes, we have to train the people the right way, but we'll get to the EPRs and we'll get the physicals. We'll get that stuff done. But focus on what is important, and that's your job. And the supervision, and we'll get through the rest of that. We will take care of that, and we'll take care of you. But make sure you're doing the job right the first time and safely. And that's really, but as far as the attitude, and it's not fake, I enjoy it. And I think that just kind of spews out of me sometimes. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a formula I can give. I'm lucky. I'm lucky in life. I got 21-year-old twins at Purdue, doing really well. I got a wife that supports me, whether it's getting up early or staying late or both. She's a teacher in Knowlesville, and I support her just the same. So I'm lucky in that I have that support to where I can stay the long hours if I want. But it comes out,
Yeah.
I'm just lucky.
Yeah. And I
thank
think
you. I mean, yeah. Do I spout off when I shouldn't? Probably. But I have you, Colonel Mayberry, that allows me to do it.
You sat in my seat, Colonel Pemberton, that valued your opinion,
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. And I think even last weekend, I was like, hey, I'm going to be down in your area. Let's go grab a bite or whatever. And so you come up with a bad excuse. But anyways, but I love what you said. As I said, hey, what do you got planned for the weekend? And he said, hey, my wife's starting school here in a couple of weeks, and we got to get the classroom. It was a we, right? And but even the joy that you had in that, like, it wasn't like yeah, dude, man, not a good weekend ahead of me. Like there was some genuine excitement and I get to help my wife. I just think that's infectious, and it's, we talk about it all the time on here, Josh, on just being a good person goes a long ways. Like, doing what's right and being good to people goes a long ways. And what do you think this job this career has meant to you? Like, what's the value in this?
I couldn't even tell you. I keep it very simple. I'm working here every day, so when I retire, I can have a good life and don't have to work anymore. That's coming. I can feel it, but it's very simple, right? I'm not doing anything anybody else can't or shouldn't. I'm doing my job. It's that simple to me. I'm not doing anything you're not doing. It's just, yep, earning money so I can retire. I know
you're just having more fun than us, but
well, I think that's I think a valid point though, and I think the piece that's kind of running through his is we all have choices. We're all dealt cards that sometimes we can control, sometimes we can't. But the choice is what you do with that. The choice is whether you show up and you're all sour and you're like, God sakes, man, like, I'm sick of them throwing stuff at me, or you show up and you're like, man, what's next? What's the next piece? And I think it's when you show up with that attitude, when you do make a mistake, people look at you like, they'll recover. They'll recover. But you show up with the attitude of, doom and gloom and all those things. And one mistake comes and people are like, that's it for that person. Like, they're done. They are done. And I think so it builds in. We talk about building resilient airmen all the time. This mentality that you have, it's resiliency 101. It's, hey, do something you love, get excited about it, and stay excited about it. Take on a new challenge. I mean, I remember when Chief Scully was retiring and you said, hey, let me go to AMXS. Like, let me, and it's like, hey, you're in the 9 Golf. Like is that really what you want to do? And you're like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to be in the middle of it. I want to be in the mix. And then, 3-4 months in, when we, had some rough times or whatever, and then it's like things, you're just like, love it, man. Like, this is great. And then you're like thanking me for, supporting you doing 2 jobs. And I'm like, wait, why are you thanking me for this? Like, we owe you a debt. And so, but it's just, we all have those choices. And man, there's so many opportunities. Today we sent a guy off, and I'm gonna steal a little bit of your thunder, Josh, because I know that you're gonna do a article on this guy, but he's 39 years old. So stick around, and you won't be the oldest guy here much longer. Right?
I can verify that he said that.
I said, Chief Cassidy will be happy to know.
That's my grandson.
Yeah. So he turns 40 at basic training. He's from Puerto Rico. Come to the United States in the 90s, and dropped out of high school. Was a straight A student. Dropped out of high school to take care of his mother, who was sick with cancer. So got a job so he could work and take care of his mother. So started working, ends up getting a good job. And here about 7 years ago, his mom passes away. So he took care of his mom up to that point. So he says he got real sick and was running some high fevers and stuff. And he said, in one of those times, he felt like he was hallucinating. He said, but in the middle of a hallucination, he said it was very vivid. His mom said, you had a dream and you put your dreams on hold for me, but I'm gone. What's stopping you? So this young man, at this time is 33 years old, says, all right, as a kid, I always wanted to go in the Air Force. I'm going to go. So he goes to a recruiter, does all this stuff. They say, hey, man, you got to have high school education. Like, that's bare minimum. So he goes, gets his GED, studies for 2 weeks, takes tests, gets his GED, goes back, says, what's next? I said, all right, we'll put you through. They do medical. They're like, hey, man, you can't go in. Why is that? Well, you have your wisdom teeth still. And because of your age, you probably experience this a lot, age discrimination. So because of your age and you having wisdom teeth, you can't do it. So he says, okay. So he goes back and he goes, I'll get him taken out myself. And they were like, unfortunately, it has to be done by a military doctor, military specs. He finds a guard captain and says, will this work if he signs off as this is done at military specs? Yeah, but the guy's a civilian dentist also. Yep, this will work. $25,000 later. Gets his teeth taken out. Gets some kind of infection. So he goes back and they go, yeah, you've got this infection going in here. Can't go in. So he's like, okay. Gets that taken care of. Goes back. They finally say, the Army says, hey, now you're too old. Can't go in the military. So he is walking out of the recruiter's office and the Air Force guy goes, did I hear them say that you're too old? It's like, yeah. It's like, we'll do a waiver for you. So this Air Force recruiter, stops him on his way out, does the waiver. He's getting ready to leave to go to basic training, and something happens. His basic training class gets canceled. It happens 3 times, right? The 4th time he's getting ready to leave, he finally finds Sergeant Kai in And shout out to Sergeant Kai in Indianapolis. And Sergeant Kai works with him, gets him to where he's like, okay, this is like number 4. He's going to leave. And like the day before he's leaving, his significant other has a bad car accident. So he has to postpone it. Today, he left for the Air Force. And I look at that guy and I'm like, that dude wants to be here. Like, and to me, those are stories, and you and I have talked about this before. Those are the stories that inspire me. Those are the stories that make me, when I'm looking at what's in front of me and I want to complain, I'm like, that dude went through all that just to get here. Just to get here and does it voluntarily to complete those. So I'm inspired by that. I love those kind of the perseverance. I love all the pieces that you've accomplished to get to this point. And I will say that I don't know how you'll be in retirement, but I know you've earned it. I know that there's a lot of people that you say you got 2 kids, but there's a lot of people that you have mentored and brought along the way that I've seen from the time I've been here. No telling since 1984, all the lives that you've changed. So, all right. Thanks for being here, but we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna have a little bit of fun. So Josh told me to skip some stuff, but we're not going to.
I was going to skip it because you ruined it.
No, I didn't ruin it. So, all right, as you
you should be used to that.
Yeah. I don't ruin things. Well, but as you go, since you go into retirement, you're going to do something outside of the Air Force. These are actual interview questions that you may face if you're going to like Chick-fil-A. I
thought you were going to get a job, and then you said, "No, I've worked so hard, I'm just not going to work anymore."
He will. Well, he'll work it. He'll work it like Chick-fil-A or something like that.
Walmart
like
greeter.
Welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, welcome to Walmart. So these are actual interview questions. Josh and I will play the interviewers. We'll get you prepared for your retirement stuff.
Because it's probably been a hot minute since you've had an interview, right?
Yes.
So we're really into the emotional intelligence. So we're going to ask you a lot of emotional intelligence questions.
And you kind of look like an avatar.
Thank you. Thank you.
Plastic.
Yeah, it's fake. So first question we would ask you is, would you rather have no nose or no arms?
No nose. So quick story. I had this thing smashed on the side of my face playing ball one day. And so it's plastic anyway, so you can just take it off. Or if I get by a microwave, it will probably melt.
It didn't melt at all, though.
Yeah, and you think if they were going to,
that's the best they could do.
I know they might have shrunk it a little bit.
Is it a military doctor?
Maybe made it straight.
Is that All right. Next question is: if you had to describe yourself as an animal, what would be your spirit animal?
A jaguar. As fast as I am, you see me running around here?
Oh, a jaguar. All right. Mine's a snapping turtle.
A snapping turtle?
Oh, yeah, dangerous on the water and on ground. You take me anywhere.
I have no idea what mine would be. I've never thought about
this is a colt. Because you're a Colts fan. You're just maybe a donkey.
We'll go with that.
Maybe a donkey.
No, not a donkey. No.
Yeah, Jess is a donkey. That's it. That'd be a great answer in an interview. What do you think your spirit animal is? Probably a donkey. Before
and these are actual interview questions?
Yeah,
these are actual.
Yeah.
They have been asked. I assume they're from companies that are looking for, I don't know, like outside the box thinkers.
Is a good one. This is a good one for you. If you had to have one superpower, what would it be?
I think Plastic Man would be cool.
We're halfway there.
I could just reach across and pop you right in the head right now. Right?
And then just that's like rubber, like a long plastic or what?
Just like stretch.
Oh, Stretch Armstrong. Yeah. All right.
Is that a soup? Okay.
That's not really a super.
It's not, but that's fine.
Hey, I ain't into that Marvel crap.
Yeah.
I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't either.
All right.
He was more of an old school Batman. That's when he did that slap in his head. He saw, blam! Yeah.
I have those on VHS if you want them.
No, I'm good. So I did see that in our conference room, true story, in our conference room, if you open it up, there's a VCR player that's hooked up to the TV in case you want to watch any VCR movies in there. So, but whatever. And those of you at home, Google VCR. So the one last question, and then we'll get into what are we loving. So if animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest?
Rudest or most annoying?
Yeah.
Either or.
Chihuahuas probably the most annoying.
Yeah.
I think an elephant probably go the other way with it. Like, what are you looking at?
Yeah, that's it.
What's your problem?
Want to fight all the time?
Yeah.
Bring that over here. See what happens.
Come here, tough guy.
Don't give me that watermelon. See what works with you. It's, I really appreciate. We always have a lot of laughs. It's good stuff. And I had a couple more questions I want to get to, but Josh ruined it because he talked a lot. But
It happens.
the last part that we always talk about is what are we loving? So it can be anything from, shoes to whatever, song to in time of year, whatever. So to start off, Josh will give you a good example. Josh, what are you loving?
Oh, sweet. I get to go first.
Yeah. Besides, it's your birthday. I don't know if everybody heard that, but it's Josh's
not my
birthday on
birthday,
Saturday.
though. Yeah, but see, no one knows what today is. So
Yeah, today's Tuesday, I think.
yeah, but like the actual date, it could be
It's
like 2 weeks ago. I don't
6 or something.
Anyways, what I'm loving right now in this very moment is the fact that Chief Cassidy let me know that he was a Bears fan. And the reason I'm loving that is because if he looks over his left shoulder, he will see a picture of the Colts after they beat the Bears in the Super Bowl in 2006. And that's the only thing I have to hold on to as a Colts fan. So that is what I'm loving right now.
That is good. That is good. And there's another one over here.
Well, that's just Peyton, though.
Is that
This
Archie?
is
I'm just
from the Super Bowl. He's
Peyton,
wearing-
first name basis, huh?
Yeah.
Buddies?
We are.
You guys are buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you loving?
Oh, I'm loving. I know. Again, here we go, corny. I'm loving my family. I'm missing my boys. They're out on internships right now, and can't wait to get them back. But you got to enjoy them while you can, because they're going to be gone before you know it, and miss them like crazy.
Yeah. You guys do like good family trips too, like Florida and stuff like that.
Yep.
And,
Yeah. And we've done them forever, and we just don't do them enough now. I mean, because they're college kids. I'm not as cool as I think I used to be. So
I love the story. One of his kids at a frat says, "Hey, we're having can you bring this stuff up? We're having a frat party tomorrow." And he's like, "Sure. I mean, you want me to stick around? Maybe hang out, right?" I said, "He's like blue, old school is blue." And his dad's like, "No, we're good."
Yeah. I'm here, and they come out the door to get their stuff.
Yeah. Don't get out of your car. I'll be right there.
Yeah, they're both in France and just loving it. They're loving the college life and living it, and jealous like crazy. Yeah, well, they're great, fantastic kids, and you can talk about all the accomplishments I've had here. Those two are my best.
Yeah, that's awesome. I would say for me, it's I don't know, this time where I have a job on the horizon that I'm going to, but still enjoying the moment here. It's just getting to see the goodness that's here. Just that it just becomes way more vivid. And just loving the people here and having great conversations, and it's just been amazing. I spent a bunch of time with some of the AMXS people down at Coterie for their little happy hour burger stuff, and ended up being like 20 Grissom people that came through there. It's great. And so just loving that, enjoying it. So, but thanks again for taking time out of your day. I know that you're going to run back to maintenance right here.
No, thanks for the invitation. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's fake. But I haven't.
Trust me, it's fake. How many times have you been asked to be on here?
So
no, it's different. It's not easy. You don't want to sound like a complete dork, but yeah. I think I've pretty much handled that. I am a dork.
Yeah, but you cleared that up. If there was any question, any question, we cleared it up today. Heard it here. So no, I really appreciate the work, and I appreciate all that you have taught me, and all that the support that you've given to me, and the mentorship and stuff over these last couple of years. And man, I look forward to seeing what you choose to do, next year. And I could not be any happier for the men and women of the Maintenance Group and AMXS because I see the energy changing and it's starting to match your energy, which is pretty phenomenal. So appreciate you. Thank you. And have a good UTA.
Thank you.
All right. Always fun to hang out with that guy. He is an amazing individual with a lot of energy. Just great dad. He's inspired me so much and challenged me to be better and more energy and stuff. And just happens to be a chief here at Grissom. So a lot of fun. So, hey, one of the things we talked about in there was making sure that we're hiring the right people and putting the right people in the right places. And so some good news that we can offer to you is the strategic hiring pause, or whatever they want to call it. The hiring freeze is more or less what it was, has been lifted. And so we're getting back after that of hiring individuals. And as we move forward, let's think about those things. Let's think about the things that we talked about is making sure that we're hiring the right people. The right people to fulfill that position, the right people to lead, the right people to take Grissom into the future and continue and sustain this mission that we have here. The last few weeks, Colonel Pemberton and I have got to travel all over Africa and DC and California and Georgia, all over the place, and represent you guys, the great men and women that serve, the airmen that serve here at Grissom. And I will tell you that it's an honor. It's been great everywhere everywhere we went to be known that we had some generals in the wing commander in the command chief conference that we were just at. We had some generals talk about Grissom's doing great things out there with the bivouac area and just those pieces. So make sure that we're continuing to be innovative and coming up with new ways to use the resources that we have here. Thanks for everything that you guys do, and have a great UTA.